Season 3, we see a more human side of Remy Danton, a little bit of a softer side. And then, of course, him and Jackie, I mean, she's getting married. Now she is a stepmother. It's sad. Are you okay?
I'm doing okay. I can't speak
Is Remy okay?
I can't speak for Remy. He was in just a difficult position this year. And I don't want to give away too much, but there's
That's okay. Well, I guess I should say, wait, spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about the season and everything that happens in the season. So if you haven't watched yet, you know, close your computer and check it out later.
There's just some things that he's been encouraged to kind of guide Jackie to do, or at least encourage her to do, and it puts him in a difficult position considering their history. And so it was great to play, though, and to get to process as an actor, because it made things a little conflicting, you know, which is always where kind of some of the more interesting and juicier stuff kind of like lives. So.
Well, yeah, prior to this season, we always saw Remy's character as he's just like the smooth talking guy that is maybe a little conniving, but we don't ever really see him show any emotion, and, you know, certainly not a conscience or show any signs that he may have one. So what did you think of that development for your character, of him actually feeling like maybe something crossed the line?
I look at all my characters, or anything anyone I get an opportunity to play, as being human. It's just a matter of what the audience gets to see. So that's a matter of how you're written for, you know? So it was nice to get certain scripts and see that they were going in a different direction at times, and being able to explore more of his emotional world and where he was as a man and what he's processing and dealing with. Because for me, it's just more challenging than just kind of dealing with the basics of like the function of an office or a job. And at a certain point, you know what that is, and like you can kind of do that in your sleep, in all honesty. You kind of go, you wake up for work, and you get off book, and you, all right, cool, this is what I'm doing. But when it gets into the emotional stuff, that you have to work from a sort of a deeper place, and it's just more challenging, honestly. And there's more to talk about with the other actor in order to help those things kind of surface, and Reed is being truthful and all that. So I was excited by that. Anytime you can find that balance and really make a character three-dimensional, it's a little more exciting to me. Like you see Stamper's character take that turn this year, where you see more on the other side of him, and it's just as an audience member, as a fan of the show, I really appreciate watching him get to work and have that kind of range to experience. So. Well,
we see that not only with your character and Doug Stamper, but also with Frank Underwood and Claire as well. We really get into the specifics of their relationship, the dynamics there, and a little bit of its unraveling too. Now, I think that maybe some people were a little surprised because the other two seasons have been so action-packed. There's so much that is done in order to achieve a certain position, right, and gain a foothold on power. And then now, the Frank and Claire in the White House, it's kind of like they're always on the defense, and we see this more personal side. What was your reaction when you heard that? Because I think I personally loved it. I loved seeing that aspect of the characters, and I think some actually have been a little more critical.
I think it's interesting because what I'm learning with being on like series television, like a serial drama that grows and it shifts and changes, that it's really different year to year. You know, David Simon does it all the time. Like his shows, his stories are like, they really are different from season to season, and you kind of have to embrace and accept that season one was season one, and they're gonna go in whatever direction that they feel is gonna be honest and truthful and push the story along in season 2, and then now season 3 is what it is. And what's interesting is that you have someone who is extraordinarily ambitious. You know, we could even say to a fault. And so the first 2 seasons are about him attaining that goal, getting to where he wants to get to. So that it makes sense to me, if you really kind of pull out and think about it, that there's a certain degree of stillness in season 3 because he's arrived. He's exactly where he wants to be. So now the show is about him having to process and juggle and traverse the territory and the pressures of being like the most powerful man in the world. And so therefore, the show is a little more intimate and more focused on their relationship and their journey and the things that they kind of deal with, opposed to it being as action-driven in certain aspects as it was in the first two.
It's not as formulaic.
Right.
You know? It's there's actually some development and some progression here, which is so nice to see. And what's your relationship like with the actress that plays Jackie? Because on screen, I mean, like the sexual tension is certainly there between the characters.
Jackie's awesome. Excuse me, Molly Parker is amazing. She's just, she's one of the smartest actors I've ever worked with, and always has like really wonderful ideas. And it's always great when you can work with someone who can kind of like look you in the eye, treat you as an equal, and really collaborate. And that's what, because it's you know, because you sometimes work with people who are at different places and they might not be as open to creating something, co-creating. And when we get to sit down and work on these scenes, like we get to kind of like dig through it all and find that kernel of truth and kind of build from there. So it's been one of the better working experiences of my career in working with her, because of just how we get to explore and dig and kind of like bring these things to life.
What about Kevin Spacey? Because there are some moments this season where it seems like you guys just hate each other.
Kevin's great. Kevin.
How do you make that come across?
He's a really generous actor. Like, he's gonna leave it all. He kind of leaves it all out there. And working with him, you always got to come really prepared and sharp and ready to go, because he's got a heck of a lot of responsibility, and he always shows up with his A game. So I think for me, when I come to work, I just know I kind of got to bring it, especially when I have scenes where I'm really engaging with him. You know, it's one of the more enjoyable things I get to do, because I kind of have to get up for it. So that's always fun for me.